Get in, nerds. We are playing Hearts of Iron 4. So I wanted to explain a little bit more about our war support in the early game. Japan has a series of decisions called Escalate the War in China. Right now, Japan has a very powerful debuff called the Marco Polo Bridge Incident. They're going to be able to click a button 5 times over the course of, 4 times now. They've already done it once. Over the course of 4 successive months. That reduces their debuff by 10% attack and 5% defense, all the way up until they have no attack and defense penalties whatsoever when facing China. And each of those decisions is going to give us 2.5 war support. So that's going to get us up to 10%. 10% base, and then obviously we're getting a bonus from world tension and having a part of the fleet. U.S. Congress passes Neutrality Act. With tensions rising around the globe, the U.S. Congress has been the scene of intense discussion about the role the United States should play on the world stage. Many members are concerned that President Franklin Delano Roosevelt might secretly be planning to intervene in a European or Asian war. Some still remember the role that the country played in the Great War and are anxious to keep the United States out of foreign entanglements. Eager to shore up support for his proposed programs of economic reform, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt has signed the Neutrality Act into law, which places heavy restrictions on trade with nations at war, and specifically prohibits the president from offering any kind of support to other nations. Our boys will not be sent into foreign wars. So, that doesn't place all that many restrictions on us. In reality, but it does give us a barrel full of political power and unlock some tasty national foci. I went ahead and started improving working conditions. That's going to increase our base stability up to should be 82.5%. Or 87.5%, which will be pretty solid. I think you get a total of 12.5 out of this, but I could be wrong. It's going to cost us some production, but what else is new? We got a good set of infantry equipment here. I'm going to turn our hold up. I'm going to turn our garrison division. I'm just going to change up the visual style of it so that it's easier for me to recognize. Yellow River blown. In a last-ditch attempt to halt the oncoming might of the Japanese forces, the network of ditches and flood defenses along the Yellow River were destroyed by the Chinese army. The ensuing flash floods have displaced huge numbers of the rural population who were given only a brief window to prepare. It remains to be seen if this act can buy the Chinese military enough time to regroup and face further combat. A humanitarian tragedy. Yeah, so we got extreme flooding in all of the states along the Yellow River here. This reduces local manpower and division speed, disables strategic redeployment, and reduces supply impact and available resources. And that lasts for 2 years, which is absolutely a huge number. Oh, interesting. This is a modifier I don't recognize. The infrastructure networks in this area are already highly saturated by dense local population. Local non-core supply impact plus 35%. Can be removed by reaching max infrastructure in the state. Oh, that's interesting. I did not know about that. Alright. So we got a nice windfall of political power there. We basically got what we need in terms of political power. We did the Neutrality Act. We're currently doing the Selective Treaty Act. I think while this is going to cost us some representatives for sure, but we're still, unless things go truly terribly, we're still going to have enough to go to the Federal Housing Act after a little bit. So I think we're going to go with Arsenal of Democracy, and that's going to give us a pile of factories to work with. And after that, we'll be able to go directly to Scientist Haven, which is going to give us a research slot number 6. And that's going to be very, very good for us. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fix up our guard division so that they look more like they're there for guarding. And then going to change up our infantry division to have a lot more artillery in it. It's going to probably put us at a giant shortage of artillery, but that is just going to have to be something we deal with. Yep, there we go. Well, that's actually not bad at all. We're producing quite a bit of artillery now, so I'm going to queue in one more factory's worth. The game still seems to think on this screen that we've got a bunch of artillery left in the stockpile, but who am I to disabuse the game of that fact, of that belief? We're going to go ahead and build us up a fighter, which I said I was going to do last episode and then didn't because I was worrying about other stuff. We're going to use our basic fighter as the basis for it. We're going to do lots of light machine guns. And then we're going to throw a drop tank and radio navigation in there. And we're going to call this the F-37. Very creative name. We'll go with range-focused North American Aviation. And we're going to queue in 4 factories into those. Senator from New Jersey offers support. The senators from New Jersey have approached. You've seen this one before. It's pork barrel spending. We're gonna make some delicious pork. They make a lot of good points. We're gonna build a munitions plant in New Jersey. Yeah, we're gonna do that. Where's New Jersey? So we're gonna just put New Jersey up at the top here. Again, not corruption, because I'm the president. This is not setting out to be a unitary executive theory run, but it is going to kind of be that indirectly. Let's take a look at... I'm going to just close out some of these older designs. I don't think we're going to need the Oglala class cruiser anytime soon, and I don't tend to build a whole lot of heavy cruisers as the United States. We are going to design a treaty battle cruiser. It's going to be a little rough, but it is what it is. Single purpose secondary battery. Yeah, that's going to put us over. Alright, well, it's dual purpose secondary batteries all the way down then. We'll probably build a few of those. Let's go ahead and get into our artillery. Let me actually make sure that the battlecruiser I just designed is fast enough. Yes, it is fast enough. Alright, so we're going to build a couple of those. Put them in the main force. In, ready to go. Representative criticizes the president. We're going to lose a few representatives. That's probably not going to affect our situation that much at all. Perfect. And we're doing just fine for artillery at the moment. I'm actually going to go ahead and turn all of these divisions, all of these National Guard divisions, into infantry divisions.
Yes, sir.
And that's going to create a shortage of artillery. We'll go ahead and build us some anti-tank. Not that much anti-tank. We'll put 4 factories on it, and that's probably going to be all the factories we're ever going to need on anti-tank. So as you can see, I've kind of overproduced artillery, and that's rather intentional. There's the improved light chassis. We'll go ahead and work on armor now. Fast tanks. Probably should have done the Rock Island one. Oh well, it is what it is. So let's see. Got a bunch of naval experience here, so we'll go ahead and do submarine operations. This gives submarines extra organization and extra surface detection while reducing their torpedo reveal chance. It's pretty good. And then we'll do carrier task forces, which gives another carrier organization bonus and a light cruiser organization bonus and a bonus to naval targeting. Let's put our experience back at 125. I'm not too concerned about that. Probably should have gotten in a little earlier with improved engine, but it is what it is. Let's see. Is it time to do a 1938 tank? Not quite yet. So let's get started on our logistics companies. We're going to research all of these support battalions, but not too soon here. Remember to stay hydrated, kids. So it does take really long. I'm going to rush this one with naval experience. Magnetic detonator. That's going to make our torpedoes a lot more effective. France and Britain announce alliance. Calling upon the bonds forged during the Great War, France has requested a formal alliance with Britain, citing unspecified threats against the stability of Europe. Today, their request was approved by the British Parliament, and France has joined the Allies. They're preparing for the worst. We're going to grab a bunch of these divisions and turn them into National Guard divisions. These are going to be primarily defensive forces, so I think it makes sense to put them in the more defense-oriented template. I'm also going to grab the 1st Cavalry Division and put them in their own army. We're going to turn this into a tank division. Not too big on cavalry divisions myself. Let's see, it's November. It's not quite time yet to go on to the 1938 techs, so just get you started on some support weapons for infantry. I'm going to need to do some maybe manual finagling with this stuff, but I'll just need to bear it in mind. In fact, it's a good time. Stability's high. I'm going to give refuge to German and Italian scientists. I think this is the right call. This is going to give us a massive boost to research speed at the cost of a little bit of stability, but that'll really help with these this research situation, keeping us up to date with that stuff. Because this is an historical run, I am, by the way, going to be building nuclear weapons, and we'll see how we end up using them. Let's go ahead and take a look at our air. You see, the B-18 could definitely use some improvements. And the PBY... That's right, the PBY is basically good to go. It's a dual-purpose naval bomber. Naval and... ground bomber. Which designer is better? I think we're gonna go with range focus for these ones, for these medium bombers. And then after that, we're going to rework this. We're going to call this the TB-37. As you can see, my naming convention is very, very complex. We're going to put bomb sites in there for some extra strategic bombing. I don't know whether or not we're going to use these planes for strategic bombing, but that's what we're going to do. Let's see. Do I have enough space for double bomb bays? No, I do not. Yeah, because these are going to cost 5 weight. We're actually not too far away, though. Yeah, I think if we just go with double turrets, we're there. Cool. Then we're going to build some of these. Am I spreading out my aircraft too much? Maybe. That's a maybe. We're going to go with an affirmative maybe. I'm also going to build myself a heavy fighter. We're going to go ahead and scrap all these interwar designs. I don't need those interwar designs. I also don't think I need any more fighter bombers. Let's go ahead and... I'm not going to build carrier air yet, because we're going to want a 1938 tech to make that happen before we really get too deep into that. And I think I'm going to want heavy machine guns before I build my medium bomber. Senator from Washington offers support. Let's see. Munitions plant for the Army in Washington. They make a lot of good points. It is after November. I'm actually going to wait until the National Congress triumphs. Cool. I'm actually going to queue this in and not complete it until we're after the 1938 election. I think. Am I going to remember that, though? Probably not. Let's just go ahead and build it. We'll queue it in. We'll queue it in kind of the middle here. Make sure it gets done in a decent amount of time. There's the Arsenal of Democracy focus. That is wonderful. So let's see. We did Neutrality Act, Arsenal of Selective Training, and Arsenal of Democracy. So I think that means we're waiting on the Federal Housing Act. 20 days. That's going to be done December 31st. No template. We're building towed anti-tank. That's okay. We are going to have a template. Actually, let's go ahead and put it into our infantry divisions right now. I'm replacing the support anti-tank with the support artillery with support anti-tank because they've got tons of artillery in them already. Is this a bad infantry template? Probably. Am I going to concern myself overly much with that? Not really. Not feeling too broken up about it personally. Feeling pretty just overall pretty non-broken up about it. There's basic armor. We'll go ahead and start on that so that we can get some light tanks built. And as these other ones free up, we'll start working on 1938 technologies. So we're going to get one on the 1938 medium tank, one on the 1938 research bonus, and one on the 1938 radio, which will position us to improve our radio resources, particularly in the Pacific. How's naval production going? Naval production is going just fine. We finished with our round of submarines. I'm actually going to build another round of submarines. 10 more submarines. Here's another losing some representatives event here. Oh, should have started the Federal Housing Act. Whoopsie doodle. It is what it is. We're doing really high quality play here, friends, but it just is what it is. I'm not too worried about it. I have played the absolute bejesus out of Hearts of Iron 4, so I'm still overall pretty confident in my capacity to crush a World War II if it should rear its ugly head, which it won't, because we're going to have a chill time here. We're going to have a chill time. Nothing's going to go wrong. We're the United States. It's going to be peace in our time, friends. That's my prediction. We're going to have peace in our time. Let's go ahead and build some more anti-tank, though. Undershot it a little bit, so we'll overshoot it later. We'll go completely buck wild. So now our research, as you can see, is completely bananas. Once we research the updated calculator technologies and brought in all those scientists from Europe, because they didn't want to be in Europe. It looks like the fascists are still winning in Spain. They're making a brisk progress. Japan has catapulted ahead here in China. If they know what's good for them, they will do some naval invasions down here. But getting the foot in the door only matters so much as far as China is concerned, because it's a massive, massive country. Let's see, how are our armies doing? We'll go ahead and get these exercising. We'll go ahead and get our main army exercising. The Anschluss of Austria. This is an historical event. After a successful coup d'etat by the local Nazi party in Vienna, German troops have crossed the Austrian border and taken control of the country. No fighting has been reported, and the German soldiers were greeted by cheering crowds in the streets. In a speech before a massive crowd at the Heldenplatz in Vienna, Hitler announced the Anschluss of Austria, annexing the country into Germany. The oldest eastern province of Germany shall be, from this point on, the newest bastion of the German Reich. Well, if that's what they wish. Japan has also abandoned the naval treaty. This is the same dialogue as we get from Mussolini doing it. I think this makes the naval treaty dissolve. I'm actually going to go ahead and do this, because I don't want the UK messing up my stability by asking me to do the naval treaty thing. So we're just going to go ahead and do that. Does this make sense? Yeah, I think it does. If Italy and Japan have already abandoned it, then there's no point. Alright, so I'm actually going to go ahead and... We've got a pretty good supply of infantry equipment. I'm going to go ahead and build a few more National Guard divisions. We're going to station them in the Pacific. Regional Defense Council of Aragon has been annexed. Okay, so that's the anarchists losing the Spanish Civil War. We're going to station them in the Pacific. We're going to have a total of 32. We've currently got 13, so we're going to need another 21. Does that math work out? We're going to need another 19. Oh, I'm the best at math. No one can defeat my elite math skills. Alright, we got all these ready to go. So what else do we have on the docket? Let's see. We're going to need extraction technology eventually, but we're going to need support battalions sooner rather than later. So let's just go ahead and get those researched. We'll go ahead and put logistics in our infantry divisions as well. And I think... Oh my gosh, they don't have recon yet. They're definitely going to need that. I didn't even realize. Alright, so this is going to have recon. We now got a huge shortage of infantry equipment and support equipment, but that's actually not that big of a deal at this point in the game. At this stage. Cool. It's all looking good. And as we get armor protection level 2 researched, I'm going to go ahead and stop and research us a light tank. Do I want amphibious tanks? You know what? This is an historical run. We're definitely going to have some Hobart's funnies. Let's go ahead and build these. So tank. This isn't good. What? Okay, well this is the Stuart. Let's Please tell me this is the improved light tank chassis. Okay, here we go. So, let's see. We're gonna have a 2-man turret. We're gonna have track suspension. Let's go with Christie for extra speed. For armor, I virtually always go with welded. Riveted's pretty weak. And then we'll go gas engines. This is a light tank. I like the idea of going with an improved small cannon, but we're getting production cost up fast. We'll go with an automatic cannon. For support, we'll go with the basic radio, additional machine gun, smoke launchers, and we'll go with slopey armor. I like slopey armor. Get us some extra armor. Alright, nice reliable 72.5% reliability, 10 production light tank. We'll call this, as you can see, I'm very creative with my unit names, the LT-38, because it's the light tank we're building in 38. We're going to set this to building 5 of these. And for our self-propelled artillery, we'll give it some time. Federal Housing Act. Excellent. So with that complete, the Great Depression is essentially over in the United States. I'm going to grab Scientist Haven to get us our additional research slot, and then we'll go ahead and pause here. Senator speaks out against government policy. He'll come running back soon enough. How's that plant in Washington going? Let's hold off on that. We'll do that a little later. Actually, let's do some math. We can math this out. We can have effective math. So it's March 18th. This will be done on March 27th. So we have 9 days to completion on that. So we'll just go ahead and wait. I decided I am going to save that for after the election. We'll do the new administration will do the pork. And by the new administration, I mean the same administration and the same president. Alright, we'll go ahead and grab escort patrols. This gives us destroyer organization and subdetection, and the same for light cruisers, plus an additional 5% efficiency at escort missions. We're also going to get undersea blockade, which gives our submarines an additional 10 organization and a 10% bonus to surface detection. And now we've got the base strike doctrine fully started out, at least. Now that we're out of the naval treaties, I'm going to cancel the second treaty battlecruiser. We're going to be able to design a much more effective battlecruiser later on, so I'm not going to need to worry about that. We are a little bit short on rubber at this point, so I'm going to purchase a little more. And keep going with that. What? The British ambassador to our country has today called upon Franklin Delano Roosevelt to deliver a note from his government. It's called upon, not he told him to do it, but he called there. He went over there to deliver a note from his government. They're watching our continued naval expansion with grave concern and now consider our Navy a, quote, destabilizing factor in the region. Should we continue our current program of naval expansion, the note continues, the British government will be forced to consider all possible measures. We would rather not find out what those measures are, which was activate its mission to implement naval disarmament, or a transparent bluff. I'm going to say a transparent bluff. If we're already part of the naval treaties at this time, then in addition to that, we lose a bunch of stability and it costs us political power. So it's better to withdraw from the treaties preemptively if we're going to be building up navies, which we absolutely are because we're the United States and it's going to be a war soon. Oh, they blockaded us. Well, I mean, that's... You played yourself. I don't know what to tell you, UK. Why would you embargo the country that's going to be your biggest trading partner in the future? United Kingdom, why would you do that? Why would you do that? You big dummy? You big dummy? We're going to set these units to deploy over here in LA, and we're going to have them feed directly into the Pacific Defense Army. Let's see how the Philippine situation is looking. Let me see, we got 2 templates. Straight infantry with artillery and engineering. And straight infantry. They're not ready yet. We probably will be creating a Filipino army. It remains to be seen whether we're going to be putting just American troops there, or if we're going to be using troops native to the region. Representative speaks passionately in support of government. This gives us extra representatives, keeping our house support pretty solid. This is a pretty substantial shortage in infantry equipment. I think we're going to need to queue in some additional infantry equipment once our... we'll put it in first. We're not urgent on these tanks. So game plan for going forward is that as soon as we've got the 1939 artillery tech research, that gets us access to the medium howitzer and medium cannon. At that point, we're going to build ourselves a fixed superstructure light tank with a medium howitzer in it. And that's going to be a fun little weapon. I notice we have not developed ourselves a template for motorized or armored forces, which is pretty concerning, and I think we're going to need to do that by hand. So we'll go ahead and duplicate our cavalry template. We'll go ahead and duplicate our cavalry template and save it for that. So this is going to be our motorized division. Motorized was pretty common in the Second World War, particularly for armies that couldn't necessarily afford to mass mechanize units. So go ahead and rename that. Basically, we're going to turn all of these into motorized for now, and that's going to be our... Actually, I'm going to leave these ones as cavalry for the moment. This is going to make sense in a second. Well, it's not really. Let's go ahead and remove them. Go ahead and save that, and then we're going to put logistics, support artillery. No, logistics, support. We're not going to add support artillery for the moment. We're going to switch over to motorized recon. Motorized infantry division. We'll rename them according to motorized divisions. Go ahead and get that saved. And then we're going to duplicate this to form our light tank division. Build a certain number of new civilian or military factories. Huzzah. Update that. And now for the motorized infantry division, we're going to put motor infantry and mobile artillery over here. And we're going to put the support anti-tank over on the support side, and then the light tank division, I'm going to turn these into light tanks. And I'm going to throw motorized in over here, which is not going to cost anything because this already had motorized. I'm just putting the tanks in front because I think they're fun. And you'll get my... Don't quite have the army experience for it yet, but we'll sort it out in a little bit. I've already got it named Light Tank Division, so I won't forget. Need to get some air research going on over here. Got some more factories to queue in. Oh, actually, didn't realize I wasn't building up all the slots in Pennsylvania. So infrastructure available in Indiana. We'll go ahead and build that. And there's Scientist Haven completed. I'm not going to do Manhattan Project yet. That's going to be for later. Because it matters more to get the last technology in the nuclear set than it does to get the first early. We're not going to do these ones because these are ahistorical. So let's go ahead and take a look at this other stuff. I think we're going to grab Support Rock Island to get us some artillery research bonuses, and that's going to be very helpful to us. Unless... we actually have the senators to do the Two Ocean Navy Act, but I'm not building up Navy that much right now. On the other hand, I did do a lot of lobbying earlier, and it would be a shame to waste all that tasty lobbying. So let's go ahead and do that. Sensible, military, data-driven approach is what the United States is known for. Oh, the air stuff. We're going to do the air stuff. The air stuff. It's actually not quite time to do the air stuff. We'll start working on heavy aircraft for now. Bulgaria approaches the German Reich. The Bulgarian government has signed a commercial agreement with several German companies in an attempt to strengthen ties with the German Reich while stimulating the injection of foreign capital into the country. Under this agreement, German investors will receive significant legal benefits and tax reductions when operating in Bulgaria. They only seek Adolf Hitler's protection. So we're going to go until the middle of 1938 and then call it an episode, because I'm actually running a little bit over here. Getting those being worked on. Let's go ahead and do support weapons again. Actually, we'll just go to the end of the month, because it has been quite a long episode. Plenty of artillery in production here. I'm going to vastly outrun my artillery production on infantry equipment in a little bit, but not quite yet. As we start building more and more infantry, I've loaded up a very large number of National Guard divisions here, so that's just taking forever to eat through this shortage of infantry equipment with the amount that we're currently producing. I said we're going to go to the end of the month, but it's already June 7th, so we'll go to the middle of the year. I am a professional, a big, stunkin' thick YouTubingsman who always knows what's going on. Never makes silly mistakes like not keeping track of what year it is in the game. Can I do this without... No, I am still ahead of time on that. Alright, time to get my maintenance companies. Alright. We got it when we researched the medium tank. I'm slain. Alright, well, it's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's all fine. I'm still going to do the thing I was already going to do, and build this, the light tank. I'm going to do the thing that I already did. The United States did plenty of inefficient things in the historical World War II, and we're going to do inefficient things now. Alright. So that's 50, and we'll fix up the support divisions at a later point. Save. Armor division, you can go. Alright, I'm just going to add this to the convoy production line for now. Got some extra factories. I'm gonna get a bunch more naval dockyards when the Two Ocean Navy Act concludes, but for now we're good to go. There's the escalator clause for the naval treaty, but again, we're not part of the naval treaty, so we're just ignoring that. They'll come running back soon enough. That's us losing some congressional support. So this force now has a bunch more units in it. I'm going to set them to exercise once again to get their experience up. And what this is going to do, what having this big army over here in the Pacific is going to do, is it's going to lock down all these islands and make it really hard for Japan to invade any of them. Which is my goal, because I think it is extremely likely that Japan will invade any or all of them. We're also going to start queuing in some infantry divisions. I build all of my divisions manually. I do not do setting and forgetting with division design. I think that's a great... I know players who do that, and I think it tends to just sort of completely short them out on all of the equipment that they need to get work done. So I don't do it. Go ahead and get a little bit more infantry equipment going here. And let me see, we got our fighters. Let's go ahead and produce some more fighters and bombers. You can never have too many fighters in the early game. Let me see, we got some of these definitely need to be exercised up a little further. I don't know quite what's going on with the P2Y, but I'm not going to stick around and find out. Let's move all of our fighter forces to the airbase here in Maryland. And we actually don't have that many more of those. Never mind. Never mind. We're good to go with that. No rush. No rush. There's the escalator clause for the naval treaties popping off, but we don't actually have any treaty stuff going on right now, so we're not even worrying about it. We are going to need to build some more light cruisers, so let's go ahead and upgrade this. I missed it. We're gonna do this next episode. All right, this was a long episode, but I've had fun. I hope you all have had fun, and we'll see you on the other side.